Good morning, dear students. Today we are going to discuss Act 3, Scene 3 of the play Loyalties, composed by John Galsworthy. This scene is set in the sitting room in Dancy's house a few minutes after Dancy's departure from Twisden's office. Dancy comes home directly and surprises Mabel, who is unwell. She is perhaps reading the reports of her husband's case in newspaper. Dancy comes and immediately informs her that all was over with him, and through the discovery of the notes, he has been found out to be the thief. Mabel is horrified, and before she recovers from the shock, Dancy tells of a mistake in turning down his proposal of going to Africa 3 months back. Mabel asks Dancy as to why he had stolen the money. Dancy admits that stealing the money was a foolish thing to do, but in his opinion, he was only looting a looter. Dancy thought that, as a gentleman, D. Levis should have offered him a part of the profit on the horse Rosemary. He said that a decent man would have offered him half the profit. Besides, that night at Meldon Court, Dancy had felt insulted by the look in Levi's eyes, which had been calling him a fool for selling the horse so cheaply. The jump in itself was an exciting and thrilling experience. All these things drove him to madness and he stole the money. The Dancy tells her what he did with the stolen money. He tells her that the stolen money was given to Ricardo's, with whose daughter he had had an affair before his marriage to Mabel. All this revelation does not alienate Mabel, and her devotion for him remains unchanged, unshakable. He also tells her that he concealed his affair with a girl secret from her because he feared that Mabel would refuse to marry him if she knows that. Then he apprises her of the unfortunate turn in the case and tells her that his arrest is expected any moment. Just then, the doorbell rings. It is the police inspector. Mabel tells Dancy to run away to Africa and promises to join him there. She even says that if he went to prison, she would wait for him till the jail term was over. Dancy kisses Mabel and tells her to delay the policeman for a minute or so and goes into his bedroom. Mabel opens the door and admits the police inspector. She pleads with him to give them half an hour. She tries to arouse his sympathy by saying that they have been married only 2 months. The inspector feels sympathy for her but says that he has his duty to fulfill. He goes and knocks the bedroom door. Dancy answers and says that he would come out in a minute. A moment later, they hear the sound of a pistol shot from the bedroom. Mabel opens the door and rushes in, followed by the inspector and Margaret and Colford, who had arrived just then. Margaret supports Mabel and brings her out. Colford takes the letter that is clutched in her hand. He finds that it is addressed to him. Opening it, He finds that Dancy has written that suicide is the only decent thing he can do for Mabel's sake. Besides, death is only another jump. He also says that a pistol is always loyal. He requests Colford to look after Mabel after his death. Colford blames the inspector for the tragedy, which he does not look upon as a suicide. It is honorable death. Margaret, thinking about the letter, says that they have all been loyal, but loyalty is not enough. Margaret's last remark is significant and clarifies the theme and title of the play. Our loyalties are of little avail in rescuing a person from his difficulties. With this, the play gets over. Now, today, let's discuss the significance of the title Loyalties. The title of the play Loyalties is very apt and appropriate. The play deals with the nature and kinds of loyalties that different people have. Loyalty is also the theme of the play. In the play, Galsworthy not only accepts the fact that loyalty is a part of life, but also tries to analyze its nature. He wants to show the readers that loyalty cannot be accepted at its face value. One must be sure that it is really loyalty and not prejudice. For this purpose, he has chosen one loyalty that is accepted by everyone as being among the most valuable loyalty to one's race. Galsworthy shows that loyalty to one's people, racial loyalty, is actually not loyalty, but racial prejudice. The theme of the play is concerned with the nature of loyalty and the clash of loyalties that take place. The main question, whether loyalty is really loyalty or actually prejudice, is stated clearly in Margaret's words. What she says: prejudices, Adela, or are they loyalties? I don't know. Cries Cross. We all cut each other's throats from the best of motives. The meaning implied in Margaret's words become clear when we reflect upon the play. The English group composed of Windsor, Adela, General Canning, Mabel Dancy, Colford, and Gilman want to protect Dancy and to prove that De Levi's accusation is false. None of them is prepared to admit that Dancy can be the thief. If all of them genuinely believe that Dancy is such a good man that he cannot steal, then obviously they are showing loyalty to Dancy. But in actual fact, most of them do suspect Dancy to some extent. This is clear from their statement. General Canning had touched Dancy's sleeve on the night of theft and he found it wet. This fact makes his suspicion of Dancy, and he says this quite clearly to Windsor. After Dancy has confessed his guilt, Canning tells Twisden that he has suspected Dancy all along. Colford says very clearly that he would defend Dancy even if he were guilty or not. Does not concern him at all. He is loyal to Dancy because Dancy is a brother officer and is a lifelong friend. Margaret also suspects Dancy but wants to oppose T. Levi's because Dancy is her third cousin. Besides, since the Jews protect each other, she feels that it is proper for the English people to protect another Englishman. It is clear from this that almost everyone suspect Dancy to some extent, and yet they all try to protect him. Obviously, what they show is not loyalty but prejudice. The clearest proof of these loyalties actually being racial, those qualities which every intelligent man considers virtues. He says, I take an interest because, to tell you the truth, I don't like well, not to put too fine a point upon it eyebrows. They work harder, they are more sober, they are honest, and they are everywhere. I have nothing against them, but the fact is that they get on so. Besides, as Gilman has already admitted, he brings stolen notes and Ricardo's to Twisden's office not because he wants to see justice done, but because he wants to help Dancy. He says that it would make him happy if his action helped Dancy in any way. The play deals with a number of loyalties manifested by various characters. The chief loyalty is the loyalty to one's race or to one's own people, and this loyalty is manifested by almost every character in the play, with the exception of Adela and Twiston. Canning shows loyalty to the army, to the gentleman's code of conduct, and to the club apart from his loyalty to his own nature. Colford and Mabel are perfectly loyal in their own way. They are willing to support Dancy even though he is a thief. Twiston is loyal to his profession. Galsworthy also hints at the fact that some loyalties are more important than others. This is clear from Twiston's remarks to Colford. When you have been as long in your profession as I have been in mine, Major Colford, you will know that duty to your calling outweighs to friend or client. Yes, you will know that duty, duty to your calling outweighs to friend or client. This shows clearly that disinterested loyalty, the loyalty of performing one's duty to the best of one's ability, is the highest kind of loyalty. This kind of loyalty is not influenced by sentiment and hence it can never become something similar to racial prejudice. Another aspect of the problem of loyalties is suggested by Margaret's final comment. Keeps faith. We have all done that. It's not enough. Margaret means that all their loyalty could not save Dancy's reputation, and ultimately, it is their loyalty which led to Dancy's suicide. Thus, it is clear that loyalty is not enough. Loyalty cannot solve the problem of personal prejudice in this case. Loyalty only makes a rather simple problem more complex. Hence, something more than loyalty is needed to resolve the difficulty. Galsworthy does not suggest what this something is. He is content to show us the nature of loyalties and to show us that loyalties sometimes clash each other as they did in Canning and Graviter's case. So, dear students, we have discussed in detail about the significance or the importance of the title loyalties and what sorts of loyalties are there and what's the difference between the racial prejudice and the loyalties. And the topmost loyalty is the loyalty towards your duty, the loyalty towards your profession. That is the greatest loyalty. Thank you and have a nice day.